Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to If There Exists Only One Consciousness, how does the concept of karma fit in? Swami Sarvarpiananda. So, this is kind of coincidental. It seems to happen quite a bit, especially when I have a question. Somehow the next video just so happens to have the answer to the previous video's question that I have. It's weird. It's just weird. So, anyways, about the sheer fact that if there is only ever one consciousness, how does karma work that way? Because there is multiple consciousness, so karma affects all of us because we all have done it. And how does rebirth work? But anyways, this probably talks about just karma. So let's go ahead and hear what Swami has to say.
This question is from Pooja Sabawal from San Francisco. Swamiji, we are told that there's only one universal consciousness, and we are that very consciousness, and that this world is Maya, an illusion, and we don't really exist. So then where does the karma theory fit in? If we are an existential illusion, then how can we generate karma?
Notice one thing there. It's all one consciousness and the whole of the world is an illusion or an appearance and we don't really exist. That we don't really exist, where did you get that from? Advaita Vedanta is just the opposite. You are the only thing that really exists. If you say in a dream, whatever is appearing in the dream, it's a part of the dream, it really doesn't exist. But there's one thing that exists. You, the dreamer, exists, because of which the dream appears. That was the whole story of the Emperor Janaka, who dreamt that he was defeated in a battle and then he lost his kingdom. And then he woke up and then he started thinking, is this real or was that real? And the great sage Ashtavakra comes to him and says that defeat and the enemy and the loss of your kingdom, it's not there now. You can clearly see it was a dream. So that's not real. But the glory and power you have sitting on the throne surrounded by your wealth and magnificence, this was not there in that dream. So this is also not real. Then is nothing real? And he says, you were there to experience the dream and you are here to experience this state also. So you are the reality. So Advaita Vedanta, one thing that Advaita Vedanta never compromises on is it never says we don't exist. In fact, you do exist. You are the reality. It's just that you don't know what you truly are. What is the American phrase? You're selling yourself short. You're selling yourself short. You are limitless existence. Everything else seems to exist because you exist. Everything else is experienced because of your light. There is meaning, purpose, value, beauty, bliss, joy in life because you are Anand, the bliss itself. The universe exists borrowing its existence from you. All knowledge and experience is possible borrowing its light from you. All things which give you joy, pleasure, which seem meaningful and worthy, they borrow their purpose, meaningfulness from you. Sat Chit Ananda. Now the particular question she asks is karma. So how, if we are one Brahman, pure existence, consciousness, bliss, then whose karma, who's generating karma? How can we say? Well, the answer in Advaita Vedanta is actually even karma is part of the illusion. As long as you think that you are this limited body and mind, then cause and effect have their sway on you. Vivekananda said, good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. So actions have consequences. Causes will give rise to effects. What we are experiencing now are the effects of things in ancient times. And what we do now will be experienced in future times. That's the story. Emphasis on the word story. That's taken as real from a dualistic perspective. That's real. But from an Advaitic perspective, that's part of the movie. That's part of the dream. That's part of the story. That makes sense, but it's still a story. What's beyond the story is you. Limitless existence, consciousness, bliss. Vivekananda's poem, Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. Whosoever wears a form wears the chain too. Wears the form means as long as we are identified with this particular body and mind, Sarva Priyananda, it has been produced by a chain of cause and effect stretching back many lives. And I cannot escape this. It will continue. Whosoever wears a form wears the chain too. Then what about Vedanta? What's the point? What are we doing here? Then Vivekananda goes on to say, but far beyond name and form is Atman ever free. Know thou art that sannyasi bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Realize who you are. You will see you are not part of the movie. Your destiny is not determined by some Hollywood scriptwriter. You are that on which the movie is playing. Multiple movies may play, tragedies and comedies, or they may not play. You are still exactly the same. You make possible these movies. You make karma possible. The dream of karma, you make it possible. But you are not trapped in the dream of karma. You are beyond it. You transcend it. You just have to realize what we realize what we truly are. You will see you are already free. He says, another place, the same poem, chains though of gold are not less strong to bind. If you're bad karma, it's like an iron chain, shackled, suffering after suffering after suffering. Things go badly. Golden chain, things are going very well for me. Whatever I wanted, I'm having a really good time, a wonderful life. That's still a chain. And very soon it can become an iron chain also. So Vivekananda says, then off with them, sannyasi bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Beyond the chains, let go thy hold. Thine only is the hand that holds the rope that drags thee on. Let go thy hold, sannyasi bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. It's freedom is directly available here. It's the most direct, obvious thing. It's your nature. It's here, right now, shining forth all the time. Snap out of it. Vivekananda says, it's a very radical statement. What ideal will you follow? There is no ideal besides you. It points you back to yourself. Never fear, because you are that immortal existence. So no fear, you will not die. Never be at peace, for you are forever beyond sin and virtue. Good karma and bad karma, you are forever beyond that. You are already beyond that. These are dreams, vapors set up by Maya. You are beyond it all. Whom will you worship? Because the Atman is all, which means you are all. Whom will you worship? Then he goes on to say, let go of all talking and all thinking. Say only, I am the Atman, I am the Atman. That is all that is needed.
I was going to pause, but I didn't find really a good spot. The only thing I can think of to say... So there's a couple of ways you can look at this, from my understanding. Is that obviously karma, all of this, anything in existence that is an illusion is fake. The Maya, the play, the individuality, the different objects. All illusions. Even karma itself is an illusion. But if you were to change, it says it's not an illusion, because if you fall for the illusion, then it's no different. Then perhaps it's no different than reality, because you believe it to be true. So, and how does karma work in this instance? How I seem to think it works, at least from what seems to make logical sense to me, is that the karma that's accumulated isn't just mine. If we were to think of individual people, I guess let's break it down like this. Okay, so the karma that we've all accumulated is ours, but because there's only one consciousness, assuming that we believe in the Maya, the play, the falsehoods. So, but understand that that there is only one consciousness. So the karma, the bad karma and good karma that I'm being distributed is in fact our karma, the one consciousness karma. And all the bad karmas that I generate and that you generate and that someone else generates go in this large pool because it is our karma. There's no there's no my individual karma because there's no my individual consciousness. So the karmas that we accumulate is all accumulative, or we all accumulate it together because there's only one consciousness. And then how we are dished out is just how we're dished out. Because whatever bad things you've done is going to affect me because our consciousness is one and the same. If that makes any sense. I am not separate from you, even if you're a bad person or good person. We are one and the same because we have one consciousness, and therefore the karma that we accumulate is one and the same. So even though I've been good all my life, my next life could be all I could have all bad karma because of what someone else has done, even though there's no someone else, because we're all one consciousness. And me suffering is not just me suffering, it's us, well, the falsehood of me suffering. This is complicated. It's kind of confusing, I could see that. I hope you understand what I'm saying, though. So the sheer fact that we share in this pool of good and bad karma, because there is one consciousness. There's no individual pool of good and bad karma. Mind you, this is obviously within the understanding that you believe in the individual person, and still believe in, well, karma, of course. Still believe in this world as a reality when you're not enlightened. So the karmas that you're being dealt isn't just the karmas that you accumulated, but the karmas of other people too, because I say other people because you believe in individuals. So, but in reality, there's only ever one consciousness, and in reality, there is no karma. But if there is this karma that exists in Maya, so people in Maya will, how do I say, continue this play with good and bad karma. Again, like Swami here said about those who believe in the chains wear the chains, those who believe in the world.
Then he goes on to say, let go of all talking and all thinking. Say only, I am the Atman, I am the Atman. That is all that is needed. Karma, you're forever beyond that. You're already beyond that. These are dreams, vapors set up by Maya. You're beyond it all. Whom will you worship? Because the Atman is all, which means you are all. Whom will you worship? Beyond the chains, let go thy hold. Thine only is the hand that holds the rope that drags thee on. Let go thy hold, sannyasi bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. It's freedom is directly available here. It's the most direct, obvious thing. It's your nature. It's here, right now, shining forth all the time. Snap out of it. Vivekananda says, it's a very radical statement. What ideal will you follow? There is no ideal besides you. It points you back to yourself. You are that.
I'm sorry, I keep rewinding, but I'm trying to find that phrase. Transcendent. Where is it at? Why? Whoever wears the form wears the chains too. There it is. That's what I was looking for. So again, when you believe you're this individual, when you're, I can't say when you're not enlightened, because I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I believe that you you can understand that you are not an individual, but still be unenlightened because you don't still you know it to be true, but you don't realize it. I suppose that might be the case. And the weirdest thing is to say that if you're always enlightened, then you never ever sacrifice karma. But because you're not enlightened and you still wear the form to some degree, you will still wear the change to some degree as well. And so therefore you will suffer the good and bad karma that this one consciousness accumulates. Again, obviously the consciousness doesn't accumulate anything, but there's this again, I'm still thinking there's a pool of karma, the accumulation of this good and bad karma that gets distributed out to people who still wears the form. Because I believe that's the kind of the fundamental thing about Eastern philosophy is the rebirth. It is kind of what keeps people straight in this philosophy, whereas Western religion, at the very least in Christianity, it's the heaven and hell. You only have one chance to get it right. You better get it right because it's eternal damnation or eternal bliss. Whereas in Eastern philosophy, at least in Hinduism, is the fact that there is the rebirth cycle, and in this rebirth, the way you ascend and transcend and become enlightened is through good karma. At the very least, good karma. One of the ways is good karma, or bhakti yoga, or karma yoga, obviously, and jnana or raja yoga, to free yourself from the suffering of this world. But the problem is with that idea is the fact that you are not free from this world. At least, again, this is such a deep topic, a deep discussion that I kind of want to ask. Just because, again, every time a child is born, consciousness is. Well, I won't say born with the child, but the consciousness is in the child already. Anything that exists has consciousness in it. So every time, so the consciousness of the child and mine and Sadhguru and an enlightened being is one and the same. Enlightened being says that I will not be reborn, but he's just as soon as the baby is born, boom, the same consciousness is in that baby as is in the enlightened being and myself. So we don't really escape reborn. I think regardless of where, man, I want to write this down and send these as questions. Ooh. So we're not really escaping from this reality. But what I do believe, at the very least, is the fact that we escape the suffering. Because even if we're constantly reborn, if we have become enlightened, we do escape the suffering of that life. This is something that we can do as individuals, is to escape the form, so that we escape the chains. But in terms of rebirth, you will never be reborn, and you're always reborn. I guess that's the statement I have to say. And what I mean by that is the fact that this person, the ego, I hope people understand what I mean by that. That this ego here, though the mind, the ego that calls himself Brian, and the ego that loves this stupid coffee drink that I bought from a discount place and keeps stirring with milk and drinking all the time, will go away. When the body dies. So the ego, this body will go away. The mind will go away. The brain will go away. This form will go away. But the consciousness will always be reborn. As long as there are conscious beings, it will be reborn. Nothing stops the consciousness from being reborn, but something stops the body from being reborn. So this is what I mean by you'll always be reborn and never be reborn. As in, this ego and this body will never ever be reborn again. Maybe given enough lifetimes, perhaps maybe then, but we'll keep it simple. This body, the way it's form, shape, its experiences, how it lived its life, the mind, how it's developed and everything, in the exact way as this body is composed right now, Will never ever happen again. Keeping it simple, just keeping it simple for now. Maybe with enough iterations, maybe this body will be exactly the way it is again, but highly unlikely. Let's just keep it simple. It'll never be reborn again. So this is what I mean by I will never be reborn again. There's no rebirth for this body. But the consciousness will always be reborn. As long as there's a conscious being, and if a conscious being is born, therefore it is obviously born with consciousness. Therefore, born with consciousness. You get what I'm saying? Then it'll be the consciousness will be reborn into the new being, whether that be a human being or an alien being or whatever being. So we have infinite rebirths with consciousness, but only ever have one life with the body, mind, or ego. Let me know if I'm wrong. What do you think about that? I'm curious. I so want to kind of have a conversation with you guys with my thoughts, because I want to hear what you guys think. And kind of maybe work it out and, talk things out and see how, if you can destroy my logic, or maybe I can counteract your logic and see how this thing works. But then again, obviously, we're just two, I don't want to say uneducated persons, but we're two people who are not uneducated, but just very much amateurs of Advaita. It's like the blind talking to the blind saying, no, this is the right way. I swear it is. It's right here somewhere. Hold on. Where is it at? That's what it feels like. Kinda. Obviously, we have some knowledge, but not enough. This is definitely something I question for, like, the Swami or gurus. It's very fascinating, I will say. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about that. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, that's my reaction to if there exists only one consciousness, how does the concept of karma fit in? If you like my content, please subscribe and thumbs up the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.